When a 60-year-old Tai Chi master confidently walked into an MMA gym claiming he could defeat Mike Tyson, combat sports enthusiasts worldwide held their breath. The master, bringing 8 supporters and decades of traditional training, faced a test that would either validate or demolish his extraordinary claims. With agreed-upon rules and no excuses available, this rare footage captures the moment when reputation meets reality, and the shocking outcome that left viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about traditional martial arts effectiveness. Welcome back to Fight Legends Unleashed, where we break down the most revealing martial arts confrontations ever captured. Today, we're examining perhaps the most honest test of traditional martial arts in a modern combat setting. What happens when a seasoned Tai Chi master with decades of practice in this ancient Chinese art steps into the arena against trained MMA fighters? Before we dive into this extraordinary encounter, it's essential to understand what makes this matchup so compelling. Tai Chi, dating back centuries to ancient China, represents one of the most respected internal martial arts systems. A discipline focusing on energy cultivation, balance, and supposedly devastating fighting techniques hidden within slow, graceful movements. Meanwhile, modern MMA has evolved through ruthless practical application, keeping only what works under pressure. Ancient wisdom versus modern science, and ultimately, claim versus proof. The outcome challenges fundamental beliefs about martial arts effectiveness that have persisted for generations. The confrontation we're witnessing today didn't happen by chance. The Tai Chi master, whom we'll refer to as Master Guo, had made some extraordinary claims that caught the attention of Xu Xiaodong, a controversial figure in the Chinese martial arts community, known for challenging traditional masters. Most notably, Master Guo claimed he possessed fighting abilities that could defeat Mike Tyson, a statement that naturally drew skepticism from the combat sports community. As martial arts enthusiasts know well, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Xu Xiaodong, who has developed a reputation for testing traditional martial artists against modern fighting techniques, reached out to Master Guo after hearing these claims. What's particularly interesting about this encounter is Xu's evolution and approach. Those familiar with his earlier challenges might notice his more diplomatic tone here, less confrontational and more focused on respectful testing rather than outright humiliation. One aspect that makes this confrontation particularly significant is the comprehensive rules agreement. Unlike many previous challenges, where traditional masters later complained about restrictions that supposedly limited their effectiveness, this match left no room for excuses. Both parties agreed on all conditions, from gloves to permitted techniques, creating a fair testing ground for Master Guo's claims. This eliminated the common post-defeat complaints. "I couldn't kick to certain targets," or "the gloves restricted my techniques." The comprehensive agreement ensured the outcome would be definitive and undeniable. This transparent approach reflects a maturing in Xu's methodology. Rather than creating conditions that could be later challenged, he's ensuring that the test is as fair and comprehensive as possible, giving traditional arts every opportunity to demonstrate their effectiveness. The matchup itself presented interesting dynamics. Master Guo, approximately 60 years old, would not be facing Xu directly. Instead, he would challenge one of Xu's students, a fighter in his 30s. This age difference of nearly 3 decades immediately created a physical disadvantage for the Tai Chi master, but one that his decades of additional training and supposed internal power development should theoretically overcome if the claims about Tai Chi's effectiveness were valid. Master Guo didn't arrive alone. He brought an entourage of 8 people, possibly students, friends, or family, creating an atmosphere of support and perhaps additional pressure to validate his martial system. As the match begins, Master Guo adopts what appears to be a traditional long guard position with a slightly hooked hand, a stance recognizable to those familiar with certain Chinese martial arts styles. His initial approach shows aggression, moving forward and initiating attacks. However, keen observers immediately notice concerning technical issues. His strikes lack proper torque and power generation. Despite his forward pressure, the fundamental mechanics that create devastating impact, hip rotation, weight transfer, and proper body alignment are notably absent. Initially, Master Guo's long-range tactics seemed to create some hesitation in Xu's students. The unorthodox movements and positioning momentarily give the younger fighter pause as he assesses this unconventional approach. This hesitation proves short-lived. As Shu's student gains confidence, he begins throwing techniques with greater velocity and commitment. A well-timed punch connects cleanly, immediately showing the flaws in Master Guo's defensive structure. The Tai Chi master attempts to adapt, initiating a clinch, a common tactic when striking isn't working. However, his clinch technique reveals fundamental flaws. Rather than maintaining proper balance and weight distribution, Master Guo commits his entire forward weight onto his opponent, leaving himself vulnerable. When the clinch breaks, we see a concerning development in Master Guo's technique. As he swings with greater effort, trying to generate power, his chin extends outward, a fundamental defensive error that leaves him extremely vulnerable to counterattacks. What happens next demonstrates the unforgiving reality of combat. Zhu's student, now fully confident, begins implementing basic but effective boxing combinations. Jabs, crosses, and hooks thrown with proper technique and conviction. Master Guo, despite occasionally connecting with his own strikes, shows a surprising lack of the superior torque and punching principles that Tai Chi theoretically provides. This observation is particularly notable given that traditional internal arts often claim superior power generation through more efficient body mechanics. A clean right hand connects and Master Guo visibly wobbles, the unmistakable sign of neurological disruption that combat sports referees are trained to recognize. The referee initiates a standing count, giving the Tai Chi master an opportunity to recover and demonstrate whether he can continue safely. After allowing the fight to resume, another series of hooks connects cleanly, again dazing Master Guo. The referee, prioritizing fighter safety, calls for what appears to be a technical knockout. This decision reflects standard combat sports protocols. When a fighter cannot intelligently defend themselves, the match must be stopped to prevent unnecessary damage. What happens next demonstrates something unusual in regulated fighting. Despite what would normally be a definitive stoppage, the participants agree to continue after a brief water break. This decision likely stems from the desire to give Master Guo every possible opportunity to demonstrate his skills without later claims that the test was insufficient or prematurely ended. One of Master Guo's supporters, the man wearing a hat who came as part of his entourage, helps provide water during this impromptu break. The atmosphere remains surprisingly respectful despite the one-sided nature of the contest thus far. As the match resumes, Master Guo walks directly into Shu's student, who lands some clean punches that send the master crashing into the canvas, but he gets back quickly. Despite this apparent mercy, another jab to the body lands cleanly. Master Guo's body language shifts dramatically, the universal signal of a fighter who has absorbed enough damage. Blood visible on his nose, he indicates he's finished, and the match is finally called to a conclusive end. The outcome, while perhaps predictable to experienced combat sports observers, provides definitive evidence regarding Master Guo's extraordinary claims. If he cannot successfully compete against a student in his 30s, the claim of being able to defeat Mike Tyson becomes objectively untenable. What makes this confrontation particularly noteworthy is what happens afterward. Despite the conclusive outcome, Shu demonstrates remarkable respect toward Master Guo. In a gesture deeply meaningful in Chinese culture, Shu presents Master Guo with a gift. For those unfamiliar with Chinese social customs, gift-giving isn't casual or obligatory as in some Western contexts. Gifts carry significant meaning and represent genuine respect or appreciation. The fact that Shu chose to give Master Guo a gift demonstrates genuine appreciation for the older master's willingness to put his claims to the test. This gesture reveals Shu's more nuanced approach to his mission of testing traditional martial arts. Rather than merely seeking to humiliate or discredit, he shows respect for Master Guo's courage in subjecting himself to this challenge, regardless of the outcome. Some viewers might question why a 60-year-old was matched against someone nearly 3 decades younger. The footage reveals this wasn't the original intention. This particular opponent was actually a compromise, not the first choice for either Master Guo or Shu. This context matters because it demonstrates that the test was conducted with some attempt at fairness. The age and physical disparities were acknowledged factors, but ultimately, when claims of martial superiority transcend physical limitations are made, Testing must reflect real combat conditions where such factors exist. What do you think about traditional martial arts being tested against modern combat sports techniques? Would you like to see more of these respectful challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth martial arts analysis.